Oh my God, hello. I'm now live. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to be talking about the solar eclipse in Cancer today. So we're going to wait for my partner in crime. Adama's on her way, Lilith Astrology. Hi. How are the eclipse treating you guys over there? I have been not sleeping for the past 2 nights, and then today slept like I just have not slept like that in so long. I felt like a brand new baby. So the eclipse energy is real. It's super intense. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let's see if this works. I'm not really well versed in the lives. Hey!
Hey, hello. Hey,
Hi.
everybody. Hi.
We are here to talk about the eclipse.
Yes.
How's it been treating you so far?
It's been good. I've been trying to stay in, honestly. I got a little sun on Friday, but after that, I was like, I want to stay in and meditate and do astrology and just get on with astrologers and talk about it because it's just so much because it's in my rising sign too. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So how is it for you?
Um, yeah, the like 2 nights leading up to it, I was not sleeping, and then last night I
Mhm.
slept like crazy, and I still kind of feel like, you know, some
Yeah.
residual
Yeah.
energy there. But yeah, it's intense. It's happening on my Jupiter, my natal Jupiter.
Wow. Wow.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a big one. It is the last eclipse happening in Cancer. We have one more on this axis.
Yeah.
On
We
what?
also have we have an eclipse in Capricorn coming up. It's like June 5th, or excuse me,
Yep.
July 5th.
Yep.
Yeah. So then that's the
And it's happening on the
yeah.
US's sun. So that would
Yeah.
be.
That's crazy. Before this I was like I need to pull up the US's chart.
Hmm.
I have it open right
Yeah,
now.
because I did the same thing because this eclipse is
Yeah.
happening on the US's Venus.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
you know, that really feels like
Wow.
digging deep into our values and what we value, and definitely powerful.
Yeah, and I think let's see. Saturn, I mean, our south node is in Aquarius, which is interesting. At 6 degrees. I mean, Saturn is moving back, but I think that just that what we've been previewing, I think, this past summer is us having to let go of some of the old issues that have been holding us back as a country, like racism.
Yep.
Like, like that's so obvious. It's like so obvious all the things that are just coming up. I'm like, yeah, what's next? The weather, the earth?
Right.
Yeah, duh. Like
Right. Yeah.
it's
It's
all of the we're purging a lot of the things that are just not in alignment with the universal law of
mm-hmm.
oneness.
Mm-hmm. And with the North Node in Cancer, that's really like home, family values. What do we nurture? Who do we value? Like, who takes care of
Hmm.
us? How do we take care of ourselves? And there's been this like struggle between production with Capricorn and like, produce, 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 work, 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 like focus, focus, focus,
Ugh.
and then just no self care. So
Yeah.
that has been and government, Capricorn rules governments and structures that are outdated and not working for us. And so this past eclipse series has really been like a cleanup crew. Like,
Hmm. It's crazy because so I have very intense political views, and I believe this breakup of Capricorn energy is the essential breakup of the white patriarchal society that we've all literally had to subscribe to for the past, I don't know, 400 to 800 years.
mm-hmm.
That it's the truth, and I
Yep.
just feel like racism is that's a word to use for it, but
Yeah.
the basis of it is class, and
Yep.
that's all. It's all like some, and it's not just here. So I feel like the thing is, the US is, and I hate to sound American centric at all, but what happens here can trickle out to other countries because this is not the only place that this kind of racism exists.
Yep.
Or classism, you know, the caste system,
Totally.
monarchy, like hierarchy, all of that. It's so Capricorn and Cancer. I'm a Cancer rising, and I'm just like, get me out of here. Like,
Yeah.
that is not what life is. I mean, and there needs to be a balance. I think you can have a nurturing industry. I think those things together is amazing, but it needs to be balanced. It can't
Yep.
be like, you
And
know,
there has been absolutely
yeah.
none of that. Yeah. So this
Mm-mm.
is, the shifts are happening, and the past, yeah, this axis is like very,
It's,
very active and important. So,
you know, what's crazy is, I mean, to me, it's an opposition. I'm very, so I call myself an orb girl. I use wide orbs.
uh-huh.
And, you know, it's an opposition from Jupiter retrograde and Pluto retrograde and Saturn in Aquarius
Mm-hmm.
retrograde. So it's like, I feel like shining a light on all of the problems, these ancient issues. Like to me, like Pluto Capricorn retrograde is just ancient power struggles. And
Yep.
that this eclipse is just like here, hello.
Yep.
And but it's gonna be the next 6 months. It's not just like, you know, eclipse time and like racism's over and you know,
And that's it.
classism.
No,
Yeah, no,
this
it's
is
like
a theme that will continue to go on even after this axis is, you know,
yeah.
with the eclipses on it. We're still, we feel the energy, and we will need to be putting in the work for,
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, I hate to jump like far ahead, but my prediction is it's going to take four more years to do the work.
What is,
I think it's not all the way going to be finished, but will be to more of a place that we will have a society that fits more of the direction that humanity is going, the Aquarian
mm-hmm.
collective versus has the power versus white men,
Yeah.
rich white men.
Yeah. And is that based on Saturn in Aquarius and then Saturn in
Hmm.
Pisces?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And Pluto moving into Aquarius for that
Yep.
the air dynasty.
Yep.
And, you know, I think Aquarius rules astrology. And so I think, I know, you know, we're around, like, we've been around, like, there's astrologers have come before us. It's been around, but it's always been a cult and swept under the rug. And you're either crazy or you believed in it. There's just no, like, gray
Right.
area.
No in
Um,
between.
yeah, it's like devil worship, like all this stuff, like witchcraft, all these things. Like, I think in this era, just in the past 500 years, have been not accepted because they're just so Aquarian. So I think that's why now you're seeing more acceptance of practices like astrology,
Mm-hmm.
witchcraft, manifestation, things like that.
And Pluto will bring out like what's been hidden, you know? So as we
Yep.
enter Aquarius, like this is a very valuable practice. Like let's
Yep.
incorporate it for the people, the masses, you know? So
Which
yeah,
I wish we had a president that was an astrologer. It
that
would just be like amazing.
it would, yeah, it would save us a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Um, but I think this eclipse is also interesting because it's forming an inconjunct with Saturn. So that's like the main aspect that's happening. And
Hmm.
inconjuncts are, you know, awkward. Like Saturn is our
Yeah.
government, our structures, old white men, the patriarchy. And this Cancerian energy is like care, loving, like nurturing,
Hmm.
valuing the soul of humans and our ancestors and where we come from.
Hmm.
Um, so there's just this, not like they're not understanding one another. The energies are just
No.
clashing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can see it literally on the streets too. It's just crazy how like things are just so archetypal and obvious. Like I live in New York City and I walk along and I see like social distance 6 feet and I'm like Saturn and Aquarius. Like I'm just like everything's
Totally.
just it's like kind of I feel like I'm going nuts sometimes. I'm like, wow. But just seeing people protest and it's like a lot of women and young people just Cancer represents the marginalized, and Cancer energy wants to take care of everyone, like take care of people. And
Yeah.
also, I think Aquarius is a very nurturing sign, but to the collective versus
Right.
one-on-one. So I think those two energies are so obvious, seeing that like all the people protesting are not, it's not just, guys in military suits. It's normal people.
Yep. Yep. And I think what's also interesting, like, so the axis is changing, right? The North
Yeah.
Node shifted into Gemini, and that feels very like grassroots, in your community,
Yes.
like connect with your
Yeah.
neighbors, like rally your own protests, like
Mm-hmm.
get together and make a difference instead of like what we've been used to with Sagittarius is like, I see it as like international media, like big politics, like
Yep.
just shooting out information through the media, tweeting, like whatever. But like Gemini feels very, we're connecting in a new way
Yeah,
to make a
absolutely.
difference.
I just think it's very interesting that our president's a Gemini
I
and
know.
vice president. And like all of this craziness has happened during Gemini season. Like it's really no accident. And I think Venus retrograde and Gemini, and I've heard some other astrologers say this, it's like there's a correlation with civil rights
Sam Reynolds
issues
was
popping
talking
up.
about it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like this, all of this is coming to a head. I feel like this is like every other time that it's happened, like whatever, like Rodney King or Amadou Diallo. What, I'm not even gonna like list them out. There's no point, but it's just on steroids. I think this is like actually going to. There's going to be other things, but I think this one in particular, it's just like that, but like something
Yeah.
else has been set off. And I think even just looking around at my environment, the people that I know through in my industries and things that I know, I just see them speaking about things that they weren't before.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me, I'm like, that's changed me seeing that versus
Yep.
other times, we don't see that.
Mm-hmm. No, I do feel hopeful, like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
this that there has to be a change, like
Hmm.
this, and I think the astrology really speaks to that. And I think also the upcoming Pluto return for the US, like,
Yeah. It's two
um,
years from now.
yes, yeah. But even I think next year in 2021, like Uranus is going to square Saturn most of the year. So it's like Uranus, planet of change for you astro newbies, and
Hmm.
Saturn, structure, government, old, rigid ass white people. Like
Yeah.
that's, yeah, it's not going to fly for much longer. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
going to be changes, and it's, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And in our environment too, Uranus and Taurus, it's also what are our values in terms of treating the world around us
hmm,
and sustainability. Clearly, like the regime that rules the US right now, and I call them a regime, I'm very, like,
yeah,
I
that's,
believe it's neo-fascism, the,
yeah,
the type of government we live under. Sorry if that offends
hmm,
anybody, but basically the regime that we live under, they don't care about any of that. It's
hmm,
about the pumping money into old industries that all of these one percenters own, like coal and oil, when we
yeah,
literally could switch to solar energy.
hmm,
We could stop factory farming as much or pick more sustainable ways of growing food.
yeah,
Like there, or practice holistic healing, holistic health, practice mental health, because what goes on here manifests here. And
hmm,
we just don't do that. And they just like also pharma, they pump money into big pharma. It's just all of that needs to change. So I think that's what Uranus and Taurus as it
yeah,
continues. And that I think is a big time when that something is gonna like need to just change
yeah.
in a dramatic way. Yeah.
That 6 year cycle is definitely
Mm-hmm.
not going to leave without us noticing,
No,
some type of massive shift.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I think more on like a micro level, it's, very much asking us to go inward. Like, what are our
Mm-hmm.
values? Like, who do we stand up for? Like, who do we want to spend our time with? Like, is there
Mm-hmm.
alignment there?
Absolutely. I think especially being in social isolation, that causes everyone like a mass like global like sit, meditation essentially and sit down. And I think people are able to reflect so much more and they realize certain situations, people, things just don't matter to them as
Yeah.
much anymore. So
Hmm.
I think also going back to this eclipse, that it's gonna like rev up some action. I mean, Cancer, even though we're like a water sign, like soft and squishy, your cardinal sign at the same time.
Yeah.
So Cancer is like we'll go charge ahead when we feel like it's safe. So I think things that have been under the surface, probably especially during this social isolation period,
Hmm.
now you're like, all right, this is game time. Like I'm
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
And what else is super interesting is it's at an anaretic degree. So it's happening at zero
Yeah.
degrees. So that's anytime a planet shows up at 0 degrees or 29 degrees, it's called an
Hmm.
anaretic degree. So there's like a lot of push, a lot of momentum, a lot of energy, especially with the 0 degree
Yes.
mark. Like that is like, they're here, they're on a brand new journey. They have all this energy.
Yep.
They're going to make a difference.
Yep.
And also I was looking at the bounds and terms of like, where does this moon show up, and it's under the bounds of Mars. So there's like Mars
Interesting.
energy
Okay.
here. Like there's fighter, there's warrior energy here. Like we're not just here to like nurture people. Like we're here
Yeah.
to like fucking end racism and all these like, we need change. Like this is
Yeah.
what this moon is trying to
Rev
switch
up.
in its cycle.
Yeah. And I mean, the moon is at home too,
Mm-hmm.
on top of everything else. So yeah, when we reach this Capricorn end of things, it won't be, but right now, like this is the catalyst, I think. And I
Mm-hmm.
think also, just like I'll bounce to the Capricorn eclipse, that's also a builder. So I think once the momentum has been triggered by this Capricorn, this Cancer energy, it's like you'll have that other axis to be like, all right, let me put the plan, because it's also Mercury retrograde. So right
Right.
now it's like you need to plan, got to figure things out, and then when that Capricorn eclipse comes, you're like, okay, now I know what I physically need to do in this reality to get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
It's potent.
crazy.
It's
But
crazy.
and it will definitely be affecting cardinal signs the most. So
Yes.
if you have natal planets in Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra, especially between 0 degrees and what do you say, like 5?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll definitely feel it.
You'll feel it. Yeah. And even if it's just in your sign and it's a wider, though, it'll still provide some potent energy too.
Yes.
And I
I mean,
think also water signs as well.
mm-hmm.
You'll feel that.
Yeah. We all
Yeah.
have Cancer in our chart. So there's no such thing
Yeah.
as empty houses, which is a nice
Yeah.
reminder for many people. They're like, I don't have a planet in Cancer, so I'm not
I
going to feel
know.
this. You'll feel this.
What do
Um,
you think about like the nodes? I mean, basically, it's also, I mean, it's happening on the North Node,
mhm. Well,
essentially.
it's so close, right? So like anytime there's an eclipse, the reason why I feel like this one is so potent is because it's so close to the node. The North
Hmm.
Node right now is 29 degrees Gemini, and this is 0 degrees Cancer. So they're just like, I don't know, minutes away from each other.
Yeah. It's
Um,
like, and it's interesting because it's an out of sign, it's what we call an out of sign conjunction. So they're holding
right.
their own part of the story too. So
Yep.
it's just so archetypal. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, and I think the next eclipse is going to be farther away from the node, but still
Yeah.
it'll, bring its own energy. But this in particular is like,
Hmm.
um, eclipse series happen every like 18 and a half-ish years, 18 to 19 years. So the last
Hmm.
time we had eclipses on this axis was 2001. So
Hmm.
a lot of themes and things that were happening in that time frame were going to be revisited through this cycle from 2018 until now.
Yeah. And
Um,
if we can just think back to 2001
mhm.
in New York too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, actually been very interesting living here, because New York is I mean, it's very Capricorn energy. It's a Capricorn city, and seeing it get hit so heavily by like all the things, like it's like even though George Floyd didn't happen here, his murder didn't happen here, like there's still protests going on.
Yeah.
So it's like it's everywhere, and then here it's just even more into because we had they were like people not associated with anything good. They just wanted to live out their looting fantasies. So then we had that happen. But I feel like when other things happen, when global things happen here, they're going to affect New York even more heavily. I think like the East Coast of America,
Hmm.
because this is where we were founded too.
Yep.
the chart is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So the Northeast is like a very, and DC, it's like a very Capricorn energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is like the center of where everything kind of was constructed.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a lot more intensity in this area for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, should we talk about how it's going to affect some of the signs? Different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have questions?
Oh, yeah. I think I
Let's see.
saw.
If anyone has questions, shoot us.
I'll just pretend I haven't been crying all night. The eclipse is intense. Yes, it is. Don't lose it. I'm having
Someone's
intense dreams. You know what?
someone's
My recommendation is if you can try to start meditating because I feel like that's really what's helped me through social isolation
Mhm.
and kind of grab hold and make this an opportunity for self-reflection.
Yeah.
So that might help you not feel as stressed out.
I've started breathing practices, which have been super helpful. I don't have a lot
Yeah.
of air in my chart, so I'm like, if I can integrate that in a way,
Yeah.
and I found that to be like pretty centering and calming because,
Yeah, breathing is great too.
yeah,
Like some breath work.
yeah.
What do you think of Leos and Cancers together? Have you ever been with
Oh,
a Cancer?
my boyfriend is a Cancer rising.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my mom is a Cancer moon, and my grandpa is a Cancer. So, I've been around them. I love them.
Yeah.
They're so sweet. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're both very nurturing in relationships, I think. They like to go
Yeah.
above and beyond and like make their person feel special. So there's some overlap there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Leos love that.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
do.
always about the whole chart, because I'm a Leo moon and a Cancer rising, so like either would probably work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I have experienced both. Let's see.
Exercises if you don't have a lot of fire in your chart. Hmm.
I have a lot of fire in my
I
chart.
know. Me too.
Like,
But maybe would you think like actual physical exercise, like incorporating like that energy and momentum, or maybe meditating with a candle?
yeah, or like yoga,
Mm-hmm.
like walking. I walk. That's been actually another, so I'll do not walking meditation, like I have my eyes open and I'm like I'm present, but
Mm-hmm.
it's when you can just kind of relax and just like have a nice walk. I'll do that, and that's helped with uh quarantine and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah, I think
Black
it's
Lives Matter, that's right.
yeah.
um yes, it's true. Good things do take time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's going on.
Someone wants
Regime, I know. I
regime. Yeah,
yeah.
we are
It's
all going to
like
be incorporating that.
there's just so many things with that we need to change. Like the fact that we have an electoral college at this day and age is I'm just confused. So it's like what's the what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Trump, he got elected. He lost by 800,000 votes between him and Hillary. And he
Right.
won.
Like
So
literally doesn't make
like
sense.
we literally like we literally didn't
It
pick him.
it nobody picked them. It does not line up.
So there's just so many layers. It's like so many layers to it, but it's just so easy to see and point out what is going to change at this point.
Yeah.
Especially with that Saturn, because we're actually moving back to Saturn and Capricorn on July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Be at 29 degrees, and then we'll move back. So we're revisiting
I think I
some
think
fun
when
things.
Saturn goes back into Capricorn, we're gonna see some patriarchal bullshit some more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I have one question for you too about astrology. Should you date someone who isn't about the astrology but believes in God? It's a very interesting question.
oh, well, I think it depends on your personality. Like, I can't go more than 5 minutes without making some kind of astrological reference. So I feel like if I was
Yeah.
dating someone who didn't at least like wasn't open-minded enough, then that probably wouldn't fly.
Same, exact same. And I've tried it, or it's like the skeptic, like
Yes.
the like, oh yeah, it's a cute, you know,
And it's
hobby. Yeah, I can't do
con-
that shit anymore.
constantly
I
like
can't.
a prove, like trying to prove why astrology works. And yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's nah, pass, hard
Yeah,
pass.
hard pass. It depends on what you're. It depends on you,
Yes.
and what stage you are, and how much you're willing to put up with.
And what your needs are. Like if you don't, if you
Yeah.
have friends that are going to talk to you about astrology, great, but some people want that in their partner, so it just kind of depends on.
Yeah. This all sounds helpful for the needed change. This is a great time for manifestation too. I really think the Jupiter retrograde conjunct Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, that's like, because that conjunction's happening again. It's like June 30th.
Yes. And then
And
in November.
yeah, and it's like, I think that's some potent energy.
Well, with Capricorn, it's physical.
Yeah.
It's an earth sign. It's in this realm. Like that Capricorn gets shit done. So,
Yeah. And I mean, it does also, because it's like Pluto rules things like, unfortunately, death. Well, I hate to say unfortunate. Death is a part of life, but death and finance and
yep.
debts. And I feel like some things may come back to haunt us as an economy. If not around that time, like November 12th is the last one. It's
Mm-hmm.
like maybe that's chunk of time. There's going to be just some things that come up that we didn't know before, or I don't know. I feel like
I've
it's going to have a lot to do with our economy
I've heard
too.
um, some astrologers say that they think there's going to be like another stimulus check. You
Hmm.
know, with COVID numbers going up and
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that COVID is not completely over. Most
yep.
astrologers are.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that the Pluto Saturn conjunction in January triggered the end of not the end of the world, the end of like the way that society is structured. Like,
Yeah.
not the end of the world. We're all
Yeah.
going to be alive still, but that's it,
Yeah. I just got
you know?
where is it? Cosmos and Psyche by
Oh my God, I literally did too. I'm not
really?
kidding. It
Mine
literally
just
just
came in the
came.
mail.
It just came.
Shut up.
Oh my God. It's like I would go grab it, but I'm like I like my
Yeah.
headphones on and stuff. But I literally
Yeah.
just I'm not kidding.
Yeah. I
It's
had it
so
like just arrived. I haven't opened it. But
yeah, I've been wanting to read it.
it,
I heard more about it on the astrology podcast,
yeah.
and a
Yeah.
friend recommended it as well. So I was like, I guess I need to read this. Yeah.
Yes. My astro friend Maria suggested it to me, and there's like a ton of information about like Saturn Pluto conjunctions in
Yeah.
the past and
Mm-hmm.
how they've manifested, and which is just that's what 2020 is about for all of you
And
astros
this is
out
like
there.
the malefics.
These are not like friendly planets.
Like no. And then we had the South Node in Capricorn close by when that conjunction happened. And
Hmm.
the South Node, excuse me, the South Node, um, it wants to expel something. It has to get
Yes.
rid of something in order to go and move forward in that new direction. And Cancer North Node was it was in opposition.
Hmm.
So
And
it
that's
literally
where,
was foretelling this year, you
yep,
know?
it's where we release, and then
Yeah.
we had all these Capricorn planets cruising over it. So we had
Hmm.
Mars. That was like when
That was a
COVID
big
really
one.
started to blow up, when Mars traced over the South
Hmm.
Node. It's like, okay, you think we're releasing things? Well, now we're going to do it super aggressively, and
Yeah.
you guys are not going to be able to ignore like what's going on.
Yeah. Another
So,
thing too with this eclipse is there's an out of sign square with Neptune
yep,
retrograde. That's really interesting because not Neptune retrograde, not yet.
Mars, right?
Yeah, Mars in Pisces.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Neptune's
yeah.
going retrograde on Monday, I think, or on Tuesday.
Mhm.
But Mars in Pisces, that can just really create just some confusion too, and or it can also create. I hate to use the word illusions, but
Mhm.
I mean, if you even look at mainstream news, I personally don't follow mainstream news. I try to diversify where I get, and it's
Mhm.
mostly independent. But you can even see like people are outside, like just like like going here and there, and things are open and da da da, and it's like they're just in denial that the problem
Right.
is still here.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, I think there may be, I think we're going to need Mars to move into Aries for the clarity to strike. I think this is also going to be, it's a process to the uncovering of the information, but right now it's still also like next week, the week after, going to
Well,
still
and
be
I think
confusing.
what you're talking about with like news and where you get your sources and how you, that's a
Hmm.
very North Node and Gemini too. Like,
It
don't
is.
just don't just like read the big headlines that Apple throws up on your phone. Like,
Yeah. Dig
there's a
into it.
lot going on. Like, if
Yeah.
you look, you can, yeah. So I
Yeah.
think it's really on us as individuals to gather on like a community level and be like, look what I saw down the street, or
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
I think it's important too.
And I think it's the rise. I mean, we've had it for years. It's the only reason why police brutality has gotten
Yep.
leaked so much is people with their phones taking video. And in New York City here, you can literally follow like hashtags and see like people, and Citizen app is another way you can see
Mm.
things happening at real time. And I think that's kind of speeding things along faster. It's like when you had the civil rights movement, it's like, Emmett Till was on the front of a paper, and it
Mm-hmm.
takes time to print it. That's one photo, and unfortunately, not everyone is, not racist, and so they
Right.
may look at it and think it's fine. So like it's took a longer time with those media. So now
Yeah.
it's like this is like right now, like you can even
Yeah.
see like pop up like organizations for black trans women,
Mm-hmm.
for like black women in corporate, like literally over, and like have like over 100,000 followers in like 7 days.
Yep.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
you really think about it, and it's like protests back then. Okay, like the Million Man March was big, but right now that stuff is happening like all the time, like all over the place.
And it also feels very Saturn and Aquarius. Like the
Yeah,
people are organizing together in a way. Like
yeah,
we're finding structure to come together and to make a
yep,
change. And like you're talking about technology and the media and like news and like, yeah, now it's
yep,
immediate. We have Aquarius. Aquarius rules technology. Like there's no avoiding this.
yeah.
So I do think we have the tools to, yeah.
Yeah, and it's even if it's just speaking out, I think that's just great. Donating if you can. I
Mm-hmm.
think also practicing what we preach. I think another thing about North Node and Gemini is you taking care of your own personal space and
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And I think a lot of us also have come to face certain shadows about ourselves through social
Mm-hmm.
isolation. It's like a twin.
Yep.
So we're facing
Yes.
this, and like
That's
a
so
lot of us are
interesting.
having to shed this. And it's like I'm going through this. Like people forget astrologers, we literally all go through all these things. So that's what
Right.
even makes us better at it.
Yeah.
But like I face some things, I'm like, ooh, that's got to change, or ooh, I've got to shift that. That otherwise, if I was just going about my normal life, which was like so busy all the time, I'm a fire sign. I just book up my calendar like it's like insane.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't have the time to sit and really reflect. And
Right.
so that's, I think, the benefit right now that we're all getting. Even though it's hard. It's hard for people to lose jobs, things to be closed, industries to change. But that's where I also advise my clients. I'm like, how can you fit into this new normal? What's
Mm-hmm.
your true passion? What's your
Yes.
true passion? Because in a new world like we're going into, vibrating at a high frequency is the most important thing. And you can only do that when you're doing something you're passionate and that you love. And that's
Yes.
the only way that you're going to be able to like manifest and move forward. So I try to help like reel it in, like, what do you really love to do?
Mm-hmm.
So I think like focusing on that, and like like what do you want to manifest with this eclipse is so key.
And it's a very
Mm-hmm.
like how do you nurture yourself? Like that was very North Node in Cancer. Like it's very
Mm-hmm.
important to incorporate those practices into your daily life.
Yeah, absolutely. I see this interesting question.
Okay.
What do the stars indicate for a Trump reelection? I have my
Oh.
opinion.
Okay. Go for it.
This is my prelim opinion. It may change as certain things progress, but I mean, even the fact the North Node's in Gemini, like, I think he's gonna win. Um, Sorry to trigger anyone. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
So
He has Regulus on his ascendant. You know, that's like a fixed star that is just super powerful.
yeah,
And yeah. Oh my God, my dog's making crazy
yeah.
noises. I apologize.
He's mad. He's mad. He's like, don't speak
No,
that
no,
into
no.
existence. But you know, I would love. But the thing is I'm just so I'm not. I don't consider myself a part of either the Democratic or
Mm-hmm.
Republican Party. So I don't. Joe Biden's not my dude either.
Yeah.
So I'm also grappling with the like doing the same thing when I had to go vote the last time. I'm just
Yeah.
like, this isn't the real change that we
Yeah.
need. And I think the thing is even though Trump he's so triggering, but like sometimes it takes a trigger to get shit done.
And it
Like
takes
that's what
time.
squares are, right?
Yeah.
That's what squares are. Like you need a difficulty, you need a challenge to
Yep.
happen to get off your ass. Like
Yep.
if you get fired from your job, you're gonna like be like, oh shit, now I got to do this, and then you could fall into something else. So
Totally.
that's basically, I feel like what this energy is. It's like I think he's awful, duh. Like,
Yep. I cannot say that
but
enough. Yeah.
you know, there's nothing else to say. But yeah,
But it's interesting that the eclipses are happening on his sun, basically. So
yeah, and he's a Venus in Cancer. I want to say,
I'll pull it up.
yeah, I should just pull it up. Why not? I'm like, if we're gonna go, as
If
well,
we're gonna do this.
go all the way.
Okay.
See if I even have it somewhere.
Yes. Regulus at 29 degrees. Leo on his ascendant. He is a Venus in Cancer. Mm-hmm. What are 22-degree Gemini. His North Node is in Gemini at 20 degrees. Conjunct Uranus, 17 degrees. So he's meant to
Wow.
be a fucking disturber.
Yep. He is. You're like, ugh.
Gross.
Yeah.
Every time I look at his chart, I'm like, ew. It's just
And you know, I'm gonna put the his chart by the US chart.
yeah, I was just wondering because he has 8-degree Mercury in Cancer. And what?
Yeah.
The US chart, where is that?
So our Jupiter is 5 Cancer
Uh-huh.
in the 7th house. Like literally, I mean, it's pretty much conjunct his natal.
Mercury.
Yeah, his sun is on our Mars.
Wow. Very aggressive energy for anyone who would like an astro translation. That is aggressive. His
and moon on the ascendant of the US. Well, not on it. There's a 10
close
degree orb, but it's close. Yeah. It's fate.
Yeah. And Mercury on our Jupiter is like blowing up his ability to speak. So
And no matter how hard, like, you know, we live in liberal bubbles. Like you live, you know, San Francisco, I live in New York. Girl, he's speaking to a lot of people.
mm-hmm.
So
I know.
and it's also is really interesting because I feel like it's kind of the low vibrational side of Cancer where it's like this is my clan, this is my family, this is separate from you, like I only take care of my own. Like there's a dark side to it, and I feel like that's triggering that, but then obviously there's other aspects at play.
Well, and his sensitivities, like he's the most insecure creature on the planet, you know? Like that is like a low vibration of Cancer for sure.
Well, like psychologically, I mean, it's classic symptoms of borderline personality disorder and narcissism. But he has Mars on his ascendant in Leo. So the thing is it's like you have to remember there's no such thing as a bad chart. I mean, and I think he also took the soul contract to do this job and be the most hated person to some people, not everyone. But I mean, when there's malefics, it's like, and there's a low vibrational manifestation of that energy, it's like Mars in Leo can be very like pompous, and he has Pluto in Leo, so it's like
Yep.
extra.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just interesting, the Venus in Cancer. It's just, and it conjunct Saturn. I feel like that makes me feel like he
Very
like never
strange.
received nurturing from his mother, and he never received that. That's something
Yeah.
that's always been kind of a drought in his life.
Yeah.
And I think he's tried to, with his relationships, tried to manifest that, but it just, he ends up getting in his own way with
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
interesting
He's definitely
aspect.
not able to access that Venus energy with
No.
Saturn there.
And his Jupiter, Jupiter conjunct Chiron and Neptune retrograde trine his North Node, which is conjunct Uranus
Mm-hmm.
and Sun.
And
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. What a chart.
All
Whew.
right. Let's see.
Cancer Sun, Cap rising this year has felt extra. General advice for when your Sun rising are in opposition.
Cancer
Wow.
Sun Cap rising. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, your relationship access is being lit up the past 2 years. So a lot of, I would be curious to hear what's going on in your
Yeah.
partnerships, or if with finding your individuality within your relationships with yourself.
Maybe even business too.
Mm-hmm.
Like work may be spotlit, and maybe you're realizing you may have changed or you may have shifted, and so something needs to change and shift with how those partners, like how that's structured
Who you
for
partner with too.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trump taking over Voice of America increases the need for everyone to vote. Yeah, I mean, I encourage people to vote.
Yep.
People died for it. So,
Yes.
what books would you suggest for someone trying to learn about astrology?
Oh,
I'm like, let's look.
I know. So many books.
There's a book called The 12 Houses. I can't see the author, but it's blue. But that was like a great first one
Uh-huh.
for me, because it helps knowing understanding the energy of the houses. You can then just,
Mm-hmm.
and the archetypes as well. Like by accident, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be an astrologer, but in college I took mythology. So
Uh-huh. Ooh.
studying the stories helps you. I don't
Yes.
know. I would
Yes.
like really thought it was cool. Well, now I'm here.
Yeah.
But it's like studying the archetypes helps you understand
Yes.
so much more the information.
Yeah. Um, I have been reading The Luminaries by Liz Green. So she focuses on the sun and the moon, and the moon is the part that I just got through, but it's like really talking about how the moon, our first relationship is with our mother,
Hmm.
and how our moon energy manifests in our chart really speaks to how we engage in relationships with anyone. So that's been pretty interesting.
Yeah. Should you not date when it's the eclipse? Why?
Actually,
I don't see why not.
the very okay, so the first eclipse on this axis was July 12th, 2018. And 2 days later, I met my guy. So I don't know. Who knows?
So,
I guess you could
and
date.
he's a Cancer
I dated.
rising, right?
He's a Cancer rising. Yes, this is
Yeah.
on his relationship axis. So
I mean, it's Mercury retrograde. Venus is still retrograde until the 25th.
that is,
So
yeah.
you can have fun, but like take it lightly. Go
Yeah,
slow.
eclipses they speed up timelines, they bring about fated events. Like the energy, you can't harness this energy. You
No.
don't know what's coming. So like if you meet someone and you're like, oh my God, like that is my person, great. But I don't think you should be like, now is the time. This is what I
Yeah.
have to do. Like just
Yeah.
go with the flow.
And I think also think about what you want, or what type of partner you want too.
Yes.
I feel like this is a great time to reflect with the Mercury retrograde in Cancer. It's like, what will fulfill me? What will be nurturing to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes I'm single, so I can speak to it. Like being single, you're like, oh, I want to just like get in a relationship now. But it's like, but wait, have I really stopped to really think about what it is I want? Because I feel like once you do that, then you can really like manifest what you actually want.
Well, like making sure your needs are met. I feel like that's something
Yeah.
that has been that gets pushed aside. It's like, oh, I met this guy and he makes me laugh or whatever. It's like, no,
Yeah.
well, like, what are your needs in a relationship? What are his needs? What are her needs? If
Hmm.
you meet a woman, like whoever you're dating, like, yeah.
Hmm. And like shared goals and beliefs is another thing, with this. So let's go back to the Sag South Node. So, like I said, things need to be kind of, I hate to say excreted, because I think of Rahu and Ketu, the dragon, it's like the mythical dragon
Yes,
tail is,
yes.
but I won't confuse people with
It's
that.
a, I'll say it, it's a butthole. It's where everything goes. It's where we release things.
I also call it the Snickers bar. Um, so basically, it's like what makes you, it's like what you mastered in a past life. It's what
Mhm.
you are comfortable with. I don't want to say natural talent, but it can be more second nature to you. And sometimes those can be not good behaviors, like not healthy behaviors. Whereas your North Node, I call it the kale salad. So it's like healthy and, whatever. I love Snickers. So
It's
sometimes I
hard to
thought,
work towards the kale salad.
yeah,
That is the whole thing.
sometimes I need one.
Yeah.
But like basically, the Sagittarius is a Snickers bar. So I think a lot of people are looking at their beliefs. And
Hmm.
like I think also even that spills over to dating. It's like you're kind of like, I don't know if I can date, which I've actually come to that conclusion. I don't know if I can date a guy who does not think astrology is real. Because I
Yeah.
know dudes that are not like, they're not like me, like crazy, like me, like into it,
Yes.
like saying every sentence has to do with an aspect. But like they'll want to listen or
Yeah.
understand. But that's my now non-negotiable. So like I think for you, you need to figure out what are your non-negotiables, and that'll
Yes.
make it that much easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Excellent advice.
What do you think is happening to homes, renting, and things?
Oh. Hmm.
So because I just with the whole it's like the Pluto Jupiter conjunctions has me a little stressed about the economy, and I feel like we're replicating some things that what happened in 2009, 2008, 2009,
Mm-hmm.
and we had
Mm-hmm.
like the housing crisis, which was
Yep.
actually really awful for Black families. It was
Mm-hmm.
literally like marked one of the ends of Black home ownership and wealth. Um, it's like I feel like things are not looking the best, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's like being prepared and knowing that information. It's like where can you cut back now? And then, that's also another like, Capricorn white patriarchal secret is you make money and profit when things go down. So they have
Yep.
tons of money. So when
Yes.
they like are like, oh, well, when things go down, I'll buy this stock, I'll buy this home. So maybe you could spin into an opportunity. And this is like I was a business major. I worked in
I know this is
business.
so
So I'm like,
interesting. I'm loving it. I'm
changing
eating
this
it
to
up.
like a business talk, but it's like I'm trying to give you like tangible things you can do. It's like maybe it's investing in the rental property you always thought, and maybe it won't pay off right now, but once it will be over, you
Mm-hmm.
know, once it's over, you'll turn a profit. So it could be an opportunity, but I think just like get yourself prepared for it's like also Jupiter is in its fall position.
Yep.
It's
Jupiter is
it's
not
yeah,
super happy in Capricorn.
it's doing the best you can in a desert. Like you're like, oh, there's a water. Okay, let me like
That's a
pump
good
all I can
visual.
out. And then
Yeah.
like I got my water, my camel pack, and then I can like walk to my next destination. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So being smart and figuring out how to
How to use
navigate
your
that.
resources. Yeah.
Hmm. Will we have another lockdown? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think we are all so prepared for it now at this. I mean, I stay home most of the time now anyway. I mean, I work a lot, but I just like it. I've begun begin
Your
to like
Cancer rising is like
I
living your best life. You're
yeah,
like,
I'm kind of living my best life, and I've talked to some other friends are like, actually, it's kind of nice to
mm-hmm.
have the introspection. So right now, like definitely use this time wisely because I know it's tough. It's hard to kind of be solitary, especially if you have energy that wants to go like I do. But this time won't happen again. Thank God.
Yeah.
No one wants it to, but it won't happen again. So it's like, what is the passion that you've been wanting to do? What is the business you've been wanting to start? What have you been wanting to write something in your spare time, but you spend it all, on social stuff? Maybe now you could do that and kind of get that
Yep.
off the ground. So I think try to use it as an opportunity, but I think we're going back into a lockdown.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I definitely see a lockdown coming.
Yeah.
And then Mars retrograde, that's a whole other situation. But Mars is going to be retrograde for 6 months.
Yeah.
And Mars is the planet of aggression and anger and attraction, and it's how we move through the world.
It's like
Um,
like the libido, like
Libido, the
I love how I do
masculine.
this. Yeah, the masculine. It's like the divine masculine.
Hmm.
Um, and right now we're going through the last bit of Pisces, which also is just very confusing.
Yes. So
So it's like,
we don't
yeah.
really know how to expend our energy. We're like all over the place. I think Mars and Pisces too, like in relation to like COVID and everything, it was like people got to this point where they're like, I just want to like hug someone. Like I want to like be with my friends. Like,
Mhm.
Pisces is very loving and affectionate and
And
they want to
creative.
merge. Yeah, they
Yeah.
just want to merge with
And
everybody that they
escape.
love. Yep. And it was squaring Venus retrograde in Gemini, which is another very social sign. So there's this tension that's been going on. And well, now we have rising cases again.
Yeah. And also Neptune in Pisces represents isolation and
Mm-hmm.
hospitals and disease.
Yep.
And it's just, when it moves back retrograde on the 23rd, I don't know. I'm just
Yeah. Basically,
seeing
we're
like come
trending
back.
towards a lockdown
Because
for
the
sure.
thing is also when Neptune goes retrograde, reality sets in. So I feel
Yes.
like the like disillusion, like, oh, let's like rally, without at least like people to protest with masks on, like the Trump rally, like no one had masks, like they're like, or like the people that went to protest, quarantine and
It's
masks. It's like,
yeah.
okay, but now it's like, oh well, back to reality. Let's unveil the reality situation,
Yeah.
and now I think that's going to help kind of usher that in.
Yeah. But we're going to be dealing with a very different energy for like half of a year, basically. So,
Mhm. Yeah, eclipse energy is 6 months.
hmm.
Yeah. And then there's like the new cycle. So Gemini and Sagittarius. So if you're rising, sun and moon is in either of those signs, you're on deck for
You're on deck.
for
Get
the
ready to
next two
embrace the
years.
change.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
ready for this this last one to be done on
Yeah.
my rising. So funny. When isn't it best for Pisces and Virgo to reconciliate?
When is it best?
Are you the Pisces or the Virgo? If you're a Virgo rising, so I mean, I think especially with Neptune retrograde, some truths may come out with your partnership, your relationship, or people you work with. You may realize certain things, or if it's the opposite, if you're the Pisces, they may realize certain things about you. But that's, I don't know, like it's not your chart, so
And they're both mutable signs. So
yeah,
I think, like, did you guys date before? Are you like retrograde exes? Venus is retrograde squaring your natal
I don't know,
planets.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
could be some food for thought.
Will 45 get COVID by any chance?
Well, who? What did you say?
She said, "Will 45 get COVID by any chance?" I mean, he doesn't believe in masks, or he uses bleach. That's why. So
Hmm.
I'm joking. That was a bad joke. Uh, let's see. Any more questions, you guys? He will cheat to win again. So I'm a little bit scared with the because it's like we're doing paper, and then there's like a lot of, I mean, just in general, there's redlining, gerrymandering,
Yep.
voter suppression that completely,
Oh my God, that's my mom. The
yeah,
comment that you just read.
he will cheat to win again.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Lil. That's my Cancer moon.
Halo. Yeah. So I think because remember the election with that'd be interesting to look at what was going on for George Bush because the hanging
Yes.
chads and that crap. And he won the electoral vote against Gore, and Gore won by like, it was like a small amount, but he won.
Yeah. We were literally in my
Yeah.
class yesterday with Sam. We were just about to pull up that chart to look
Oh,
at
really?
it, but we ran out of time. So we're looking at it next Saturday. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
cool.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting because
Yeah.
that can probably determine, but I just feel like there's just so much convo around the voting. I'm like, something is not gonna go right.
Yeah.
Like, at all. Like, any witches here? Yeah, we got a lot of witches here.
Yeah, obviously.
It was really interesting. I love how on the stimulus checks it had his signature on it. I'm like, y'all shouldn't send that to witches.
Right?
I was like,
Oh my God, such a good point.
Compare with Hitler. So yeah, I mean, Trump is a neo-fascist essentially. So it's not like, you know, I mean, there are internment camps, but those have been around for years, even under Obama with the migrants at the border. I mean, that's nothing new. I think everyone's just getting more triggered by it because, I mean, there's so many things we triggered out, and it's like Trump. But that's basically what he is. But it's not like it's like like World War II. But I just really feel like with this Mars and Aries, I think we're gonna see some other explosive things in other countries kind of come about. I don't know if it's necessarily us, but there just might be some, because we've been having our turn with things. And like, I think
no, this is definitely going to play out on a global scale.
Yeah, because it will square Pluto eventually and Jupiter.
And it's going to be very close to that eclipse point, that 22-degree Capricorn at the beginning of the year, the January 10th, I think. So that will bring something. I also feel like I'm in Northern California. I think fires, we're going to be experiencing some more fires, but I don't know.
Yeah. His parents were cold. Yeah. Yep. So he's not the Cancer side of the act. He is deeply embedded, and his life, that's his life, is that structure, like coming from wealth and utilizing his white privilege to get to where he is now.
Yep.
You know, if someone who was not him came along and had the same credentials and spoken the same way, they would have not been elected.
No.
And we all know that.
Like,
let a Black woman like come up there and talk about like grabbing like people's body parts and like have like rumblings of like, you know, Jerry Epstein, like, you know, tie, like I don't think that would work.
Truly fucking unbelievable.
Should we make any investments in ourselves right now? Yeah, your business.
Yeah.
Your business and your education. I feel like right now is a great, like you were saying, online classes. I'm taking online classes. Yes. I mean, it's easy to like overload myself with them, but it's good to like now use this as a time to educate yourself more on things that you may not have made time for.
And I think we were talking about how it was like one way to deal with stress, or like people are dealing with stress, is by like just filling up their calendars with classes, which is like totally what I did.
Yeah,
so, like,
you're Virgo, right? Virgo.
I got a lot of Virgo energy, yeah. So I'm like, I'll just fill my calendar up. But yeah, it's there's a healthy balance, but it's definitely like a good way to work with this energy.
What about Saturn moving into Aquarius towards the end of the year? Maybe he will cheat to win, but then something else that changes who is Prez.
Well, towards the end of the year, Saturn is going to conjunct Jupiter.
Yeah.
Right? It's not in December.
And in Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And thank goodness it's not in Capricorn, because I'm getting like tired. Because then I would be like, that's not, I mean, I think there's some other things, and I could pull that chart up too, but I was looking at it recently. That just kind of tells me that there will be more triggering events that's going to lean in favor of power to the collective. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's going to be like a shiny, bright, you know, December at all. But I think some things that are going to happen that I think bring about change.
It'll shift back towards us, the people. You know, that's okay. We have 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Impart more wisdom.
Let's see. Who are Aries men compatible with? just like the basic, I would say other fire sign women, but I feel like Aries and Leo always get along
Mm-hmm.
really
In
well.
general. Yeah.
Yeah, Leo women are really, especially Aries men and Leo women, because Leo women are just
Yes.
like, I want to do my like thing, and they're like, okay, me too,
Yeah. Independent. Yeah.
and fun. Yeah, it's like
Mm-hmm.
they bring fun. Give us hope for a Biden win.